to talk about being out of touch, because last October I happened to be in Seoul in South Korea when the news of the Hobbit objections by New Zealand unions went on BBC World News, and I had some people from the United Kingdom come to me and say, what on earth are New Zealand trade unions doing objecting to one of the largest film productions ever made in New Zealand, or around the world for that matter, by the same director that put New Zealand on the world map with 3 fantastic movies that ended up scooping a whole wedge of Oscars. What on earth were New Zealand trade unions doing undermining that sort of thing? And I had to say, I have no idea, but I trust the national government to come in and fix it, and that's exactly what we did. I am absolutely delighted and proud to be part of a government that puts pragmatism ahead of principle every time. And if there's anything that separates these two parties, it's on industrial relations. So I'm absolutely delighted to stand up and defend the changes that have been made by this government, both in respect of the Employment Relations Amendment Act and also the Holidays Act. Let me start with the simple premise that employees know what is best for them. Right. That they can go to their employer and say, you know what, I've got that 4th week's holiday, but I want to cash it up. I've got a few bills to pay. That somehow that represents the sort of can't think for themselves mentality that Labor want to continue to promote over there absolutely defies belief. But the thing that really, really gets me the most is the fact that they're not prepared to give the marginalised, the young, the very old, the opportunity to demonstrate to employers that they're worth giving a go. That's right. And so we changed the legislation so that small employers could do that. What happened? Fantastic success. So what did we do? We extended that out to all employers, and I think that's going to see the handbrake on productivity in this country finally come off. It comes into effect in a couple of weeks, and I think stand by, because that's going to be one of the things that will really get this economy going. The other thing that employers have been saying to us for years was that the Holidays Act was impossible to manage. And in fact, as an employer prior to the last election, I shared that view. The one thing that we needed to get rid of was the terrible relevant daily pay that absolutely undermined the Holidays Act. So we've done that. Frankly, I think we can do a little bit better with that, but this is a journey, and I know that the Minister of Labour has that under control. But, Mr Chairman, the one thing that does come within the purview of the Department of Labour that I want to talk about, and the thing that the public of this country still wait to hear from the former Labour government, is the apology that they are owed the public for their absolutely woeful performance in ACC.
That's right.
Now, the Department of Labour oversees Vote ACC on behalf of the Crown, and the public of New Zealand is still waiting. We were delighted to hear that the turnaround that was required has been achieved with a substantial accounting surplus, at least, if that doesn't translate to a cash surplus, following 2 successive years. One of it was signed off by the former Minister for ACC, Marion Street, as accurate. Firstly, a $2.4 billion deficit, followed hard on the heels by a $4.8 billion deficit, and a blowout in the unfunded liability from about $11 billion before the rot set in 2005 to some... Yeah, well, you see, now that is another classic example of how completely ignorant the spokesman for ACC is on the way in which the scheme works. They support full funding, but don't want to recognise when the books are absolutely in deficit. A complete
global financial crisis, a short-term setback.
Denial. There it is. You see, we didn't have a problem. Apparently there's money in the bank, so that's all right. It's a bit like saying I've got $10,000 in the bank and a $500,000 mortgage, so everything's fine if I don't bring home the bacon. I'm okay. It's like jumping out of a plane from 50,000 feet and saying everything's all right 100 metres off the ground. No parachute, it's going to hurt in time. Oh, well, you see, it's the investments problem now. Well, let me tell you that the rot set in a long time before the global financial crisis set in, and I'm absolutely proud of the turnaround that this government has put in place for Vote ACC. And congratulations to the Department of Labour for their role in the oversight that has produced. Long may that continue. And with that, spokesman, I have no doubt that it will.
Members, the question is that the report of the Transport and Industrial Relations Committee on the Department of Labour be noted. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. The contrary opinion will say no. The ayes have it. The next financial review, I understand members